I'm reading your column here. If those who haven't read it again, it's mygolfspy.com. And this one line, Brockman and I were just talking here, stands out. That that you say he might be the most dominant force. Now, Bryson DeChambeau, its biggest name and its most dominant force in golf. That's a lot.
That's a lot. I don't think there's any doubt he's the biggest star. I mean, Scotty Scheffler has been on a tremendous run, and winning the Masters is a huge deal. But he's just kind of a nice, sweet guy. The only interesting thing that's ever happened to Scotty Scheffler is he got into a kerfuffle with the law, now exonerated, but he doesn't really give you much on the golf course other than spectacular golf. I mean, Bryson he's box office. He's pure entertainment. He has that star quality. He's a ham. He's a social media influencer. He plays the game in a completely unique way. Chicks dig the long ball, all that stuff. Scotty Scheffler right now might be slightly better than Bryson, but I don't think there's any doubt that Bryson is the biggest star in the game. And because, the live players and the tour players only come together at the majors, that's all we have to go on. And Bryson has beat Scotty 2 times out of 3 this year. Small sample size. We'll see what happens at the Open, but Bryson can overwhelm a golf course in a way that Scotty cannot. And if you put Bryson on the average PGA Tour setup, he would be winning a lot of tournaments with the golf he's playing right now. So we need a little more time horizon before we can render a verdict on which one of those guys is the most dominant force in golf. But who's the biggest star? That's done and dusted. That was settled at Pinehurst, and it's definitely Bryson.
And it completes, as you wrote as well. And by the way, I love how I said I love the line, and then I couldn't find it on my screen. The line was, so now the golf world must reckon with the fact that DeChambeau is its biggest star and potentially most dominant force. And then you write later about the redemptive arc, your words again here, of DeChambeau's career the last couple of years. Did you think, Alan, that we would see this arc? Did you think that this was where it was going, where he's gone YouTube, an influencer, an ultimate bro, to just lovable? I mean, lovable, huggable, likable, sensitive, talking about his dad, guy that we saw yesterday there with Mike Tirico on Father's Day.
I'm not sure anybody saw this coming. I mean, it was predictable because in that Bryson had no friends on the PGA Tour. And when he went to live golf, he all of a sudden had this, all those guys had that siege mentality in the beginning, and they became intensely bonded. And then he had his own team where the guys on the team had to hang out with him. They had to be his friend, whether they wanted to or not. And it's really the first time in his golfing life that Bryson has had a support system. And, before his father died, I wrote a big story on Bryson going way back to 2015. And one thing that his father told me is, like, Bryson could never play team sports. Like, he was just too intense for the other kids, and he just couldn't understand why they didn't give maximum effort at all times. And that's what attracted him to golf in the first place. And so finally, this lone wolf has kind of found his pack, if you will. And it's been part of this shift. And he's like kind of these wise older veterans who have taught him a lot about the game, but more importantly, a lot about life. I asked one of his teammates who wished to remain anonymous. I said, "What have you taught Bryson?" And he said, "Don't try and find a girlfriend on Instagram." But words,
really,
words to live by. Oh yeah, 100%. But
I just don't know if it's good advice. I don't doubt they gave it. I'm just debating whether or not it's good advice. That's all. Forget it. I cut you off.
It depends what kind of girl. It depends what kind of girl you're looking for, I think. But so yeah, it's so in this support system, he's really blossomed, and he's coming to his own as a golfer. And then the embrace of YouTube, as cheesy as it sounds like, it's turned him into a performer. Like, he has realized that, in a way that like a Patrick Cantlay never will. The guy looks like he's constipated at all times. Like, nobody wants Patrick Cantlay to ever win because it's such a downer. Whereas Bryson gives so much to the fans, and he understands that professional sports does not exist without the fans. They're the reason for the whole thing. And so he's found a way to, I mean, he shamelessly plays to them, but then he takes all that energy and he kind of refines it into this fuel that has helped propel him onto these great performances. So you take the style of play, in fact, he's a great looking guy. He's got this exuberant personality, and that he's really embraced this role. And he's turned into must watch TV.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.